Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. So in today's video I just thought we'd do a little update video on the calves. That we moved back like a few weeks ago. So there they are. So we moved, what did we do? We had a pen of 9. We put eight weaned calves with 9 that were already weaned. So there's 17 in here so far, which is a bit overcrowded in all honesty for this shed, but all in all they've coped rather well. There's another shed next door. I think there's 11 in there, but they've got a bigger shed, but they're a little bit older. But the reason there was a reason why we didn't put any of these in with them is because some of them have got ringworm. Now 1 or 2 of these just started with ringworm, but nowhere near as bad as them. They're actually clearing up and getting better. But another reason we didn't put any in there was purely because in about a month or so's time, they'll actually be going into cubicles. Hopefully, all being well. So the group for size, really. So these are all a similar-ish size. Them in there a little bit bigger. So I didn't want to put any of them out of the ear in there. Get ringworm and they're not just do as well, because it does affect their immune system a bit when they get ringworm, being very friendly. But they've coped rather well. They're on, I think they get, what are they on with corn? 17, and they're having 4 buckets. It works out roughly about 2 kilos a calf a day, which is quite a good feed for them. Which, especially when the stock's rather tight, like they are, they would rather have more than less, if that makes sense. So that we know that, the smallest ones of the group are getting their share. So, I'll just flip the camera around and you can see. Right, so, like here we've got one calf. This one's actually a fillet. A fillet out of a Monty, out of a Simmental cross. So she has got a bit of beef in here, this one. But it's dairy bred. Her mum was a very, very soft cow, and she was the last calf off her mum before she went, so we've had to get a replacement off her, something to rear, to remember her by. And then this one here is very friendly as well. So they're mainly British Friesians, apart from this one, obviously, that's a Fillet V cross. There is an Aberdeen Angus in here. That is that black one stood there at the back with his head up. So that's an Aberdeen Angus bullock. And then there's 2 Friesians that are twin Free Martins that we also kept. I think one of them sat down at the back. Not that one. Up against the wall there. Right up against the wall. She's one of them. One of the Free Martins. So they will be going for beef along with the Angus, which is still there looking at us. So they're on round bale hay. But this was new seeds hay, so this was off a reseed field, and it was very dry stuff, and it was very long and stalky. So I didn't think it was very good for milk cows, but we've given it these, and they're doing quite well on it, to be honest. Well, what we do is we pour a bucket of corn in this trough on the gate, and then we chuck the rest in the ring feeder, so they all stand around the ring feeder, and they've got the corn in there along with the hay. So we're just trying something a little bit different, and that's something I'll show you now. Right, so we've just been down to our local Cars Billington branch at Bakewell, and we've got a couple of these lip buckets. So well you can see that. Easy breather, that's what that says, easy breather. So these are lip buckets for calves or young stock. There you go. Natural aid for maintaining a healthy respiratory system in calves, in young cattle and sheep. So it is actually for sheep as well. So we've got 2 buckets. There's the other one, other bucket. So you can see that. So they're identical buckets. So my plan is, we've got 2 buckets. I've used these before and they do work rather well. So what we're going to do is we're going to give one to each group of calves. So the group of calves that you've just seen, we'll give them a bucket. and then we'll give another bucket to the other group that was only, I think there's 11 in there. So yeah, we'll give them one of each, see how long they last, and hopefully might just stop them from coughing too much, because a bit of a cough isn't too much of a problem. It's not worth getting involved with jabbing with antibiotics or anything like that, but we don't want it to develop into anything serious. So hopefully they'll do the trick. They'll help. But got JCB here as well, because got a load of calf starter mix as well. Just because it saved, well, it was easy to get the JCB, in fact, than the wheelbarrow. So, and I needed the JCB for something else after I've done this job, so yeah, easy job. We'll crack on. Right, so I've got a little bucket here. Hopefully I've got the camera set up right. Oh, damn if I didn't knock it off. So just take the lid off. There we go. It's popped up. We'll just put that down there for a minute. And one thing I noticed about these licks, they smell a lot like cough sweets. So if you don't know what cough sweet smells like, it smells very sweet. Very, very sweet. It smells a bit like, yeah, it smells a bit like cough sweets, basically. So, just put this in with them. So these have never actually had a lip bucket before, so they won't actually know what to do. But they should work it out, because it will have molasses in it, which will be like an incentive for them to obviously lick it. It's very tasty. But they've got in the hang of it, they have anyway. Right, so I've put their little bucket right at the back of the shed, just so it's out of the way when they're feeding around the rings. So you can't actually see it right now, but we'll go and give the other group of calves theirs and see what they reckon to it. The last lot did the exact same as that, try and tip it over. Flip it back right. Right, so there we go, we've given them one before. These have had a lip bucket before. We had one left from last winter. So these have actually, so I gave them that like back in November, I think, maybe December, and they had that. But I've noticed they are coughing a little bit. One there just coughed. Ever since we stopped giving it them, and I think generally it's the time of year. So the air's a bit more musty, there's more, I mean that one there, which has got the horns. I've made a mistake and missed the awning that one. She's actually been jabbed for pneumonia about a week ago, so she's doing a lot better than she were. But we don't want these calves getting ill, and we don't want them, you know, going downhill, start, you know, not thriving. Because we want them to thrive, because they're on a high. They're at one on the other side at Wallball. They're on quite a good corn diet. These are. Again, they're on the same round-baled hay that the others are, which was like new seed stuff. Just because it's nice dry stuff, and if anything is going to have it, dry stuff, it's probably better for these to have it than the milk cows. Milk cows are probably better on some, you know, they're better on some second and third cut, you know, cut short sort of stuff. But these know how to lick a lip bucket. These have had one before. But yes, I think there's 11 in here. There's 11 or 12. But these are all Frisian heifers that are in here. These are all dairy replacements. One there a little bit on the small side, but nothing to really worry about. But like I say, there's actually 2 of these that have been jabbed with pneumonia before. One was jabbed back in October, I think. But yeah, doing quite well. They like that lip bucket, obviously, but it's got a really strong smell of cough sweets to it. So if you're hopefully you'll have people watching this, you lot watching this have had cough sweets before, and you'll know what that smells like, because I've made the mistake of taking a lip bucket lid, one of them bucket lids, and put it in the cab of the JCB, and now the JCB cab smells of them lip buckets. You know, it's not a bad smell, but it's going to annoy me after a bit. But they're obviously liking that. But yeah, they're doing quite well at the minute. They're on. And this is one of them hay bales. You know, it is a bit like, say, hay, like haylage. It's quite long stuff. It's a few seed heads in it. I'm not sure you can see that. There's a seed head there. You can see that. Another seed head. So it's an all seed as that. It were all 2023 reseed. So it was ploughed end of August. Yeah, ploughed end of August 2023, and grazed it last spring, and then I think it did have some fertiliser and a bit of slurry, and then we left it alone and then mowed it beginning of August, and this was the outcome. But it was very long. It probably should have had a bit more fertiliser really, because it had fertiliser quite early on in the spring, and then it didn't get any more. We probably should have put a bit more fertiliser on. It would have helped it. But it was very long stuff. Probably not too good for the milk cows, but it just being so long, they'd probably waste it. Whereas these calves, perfect stuff for them. And one bale normally does them, well, it does them about 5 days for 11 of them. About 5 or 6 days. You know, I don't go on the 5th day they've got to have a bale. It's whether they've ended up or not. If there's enough left, I generally go on, you know, the metalwork of the ring feed, which is down here. If it's below that, I know for a fact that it won't last them the day out. I know they'll have to have their bale that day. Whereas this, there's probably enough here actually for 2 days. It'll be probably, today's Saturday, today's Sunday. Sunday the 2nd of February today. So we got them lip buckets yesterday. And yeah, got them lip buckets yesterday. This will probably do them till Tuesday or Wednesday. Easy. What's left in here? There's a good half a bale left in there. But they're doing really well on it. A couple of them have missed the awning, like that one there. Just make out the horn buds on her. Just make out her horn buds. There, just make out her horn buds. There's another one, the other one that had pneumonia that's got horns, but she's near the back, I think. But only 2. But only 2 out of what did I say, there's 11 or 12 in here, so that's not too bad. But all these will be going into cubicles soon, and these are a bit older than the other group of calves, so that's why they've not come in here. But like 1 or 2 that are on the small side will stay in here. Just the bigger ones will go into cubicles. Probably about a month's time, 6 weeks probably. But yeah, there's another fillet. Sorry, not all Friesians. One's a fillet. That one's a fillet. Again, I've used a bit of fillet semen, but they're really enjoying that lip bucket. So I got these lip buckets just on the off chance to just see if they'll work. If I think the calves are doing better on it, they'll get some more, because at the minute I don't think that lip bucket's going to last very long, the way they're looking at it. But it's got, not only has it got stuff in it to help with the breathing and what have you. I'm not sure what's actually in them, to be honest. All I know, it's promoted to help young calves, you know, easy breathing when they're in that old buildings like this. Just helps with the respiratory, the word, on them. Because that's what we want. We don't want calves any respiratory problems, because then they just go downhill fast. But it has got molasses in, which molasses is like, well, it's sugar basically. So it's a sweetener, so it'll make them want to eat it, well, lick it, because, you know, they want a bit of incentive. But yeah, I'll leave the video with that. I think that's enough of me waffling on about lip buckets and update on the calves, but they're all doing all right. So if you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below, and I'll see you in my next one. See ya, bye.